welcome back to 13C. On deck today, two items actually from Palmetto State Armory. What you see here is actually the completed version. We've got one of their Freedom Uppers and then one of their PA-15 MOE lowers here. Got each one individually. They came in, we put them together, and boom, here you go. One of the reasons why you see a lot of upper and lowers for sale separately on Palmetto State and some other sites as well is because selling a completed rifle in the U.S., there's an 11% federal excise tax that gets dumped on the top of each and every one of those. So by removing that 11% tax, they get to save some money on that and then pass some of the savings on to you. Now, I've shared a couple of these sales in the past. I had one Independence Day sale here, which is just the other day, Father's Day sale, a couple others I've shared, and inevitably the question comes up, well, what are you getting for about 500 bucks? Which, minus the optic, is what you see about right here. You know, it depends on some of your options. Some of them come with enhanced polished trigger or different upgraded trigger. Some come with different backup sights, CTR stock instead of this MOE stock, things like that. But in general, about 500 bucks for a one of these Nitride Freedom ARs from Palmetto State. And we're going to answer that question here today. We're going to go through some reliability, we're going to go through some different magazines, some different ammo, and we're going to go through a little bit of accuracy as well to see just what you're getting in this price point. Because, you know, ARs run the gambit, right? They run from the low end all the way up. You can drop $2 grand, $2,500 on an AR if you really want to go all out. At some point there becomes a point of diminishing returns. We won't get into that here, but if you've watched the channel in any depth, you know we run the full gambit from, you know, be it entry level to advanced and anywhere in between. What can you get for this? Is this a good base to start with if you want to look to upgrade something later? Yeah, we're going to cover all that. So this is the upper itself is a 16-inch M4 carbine length 5.56 1-in-7 twist Nitride Freedom Upper with bolt carrier group and charging handle. That's with MOE FDE front foregrip here. The lower is the PSA or PA-15 lower with their Magpul and FDE MOE lower. We'll get into the lower in a little bit. Might as well focus on the upper and then move on down. So starting with the barrel, already mentioned 1-in-7 twist. It is fully nitrided inside and out. As opposed to having a chrome line barrel, it's a nitrided barrel. There are some thought processes behind why some people like one over the other and back and forth. Primarily for me personally, if I'm not shooting corrosive ammo, I don't have to have chrome lined, and nitride is a very hard material. It's going to hold up pretty well. They use the salt bath method for this. It's an M4 profile barrel, and it's 4150 chrome moly steel on here. It also has your M4 barrel extension as well as a carbine length gas system. The front gas block up here is .750, and this front sight block is marked F, as well as having a bayonet lug here on the bottom. And up at the front we have 1/2x28 threads as well as a standard A2 flash hider. Working our way down to the receiver, it is forged 7075 T6 aluminum. The bolt in here is going to be Carpenter 158 steel. The gas key on top of your bolt carrier is double staked. And you've got your standard mil-spec charging handle on here, as well as the bolt carrier itself being a full auto carrier. And last but not least, up front here is this Magpul MOE Handguard. It's got M-lock on both sides as well as the bottom, plus it has a little heat shield in here as well to try and help protect your hands. Moving on to the lower, this is the complete PA-15 MOE lower in flat dark earth. You know what? I'm just gonna pop this off of here so that you can look inside here with me and see what we have there. Interesting how that works. So the lower itself is machined from an aluminum forging of 7075 T6 aluminum. It's hard coat type 3 anodized. And you've got your standard mil-spec tube back here mating up with your MOE Magpul stock. The castle nut is, yeah, it is staked on here. I thought so. It's actually staked right there. Your MOE grip with its little trapdoor compartment in there for storing batteries or something like that. And the flat dark earth MOE trigger guard as well. It does have a standard carbine buffer in the back here, and the hammer is unnotched, as you can tell. so that way you could use it with 9mm upper if you wanted to. And last but not least, it is marked multi for the caliber. Anyway, before I forget about it, I better just put this back on here. You know, when it came in from the factory, it kind of looked like this. Anyway, there's 2 pins here. You push those in. There you go. Interesting how I did that just to make sure I didn't lose these 2 parts out here in the wild. And on top of here we have a Holosun 510C Elite in flat dark earth, and it actually has the green dot in there, which we've been doing some work on that, and honestly kind of digging this green dot. Well, we'll have some links down below for some more information on this, and we'll be having a full review out on the optic itself probably in about 2 weeks. We're moving it back and forth between rifles and trying to get as much use as possible out of it right now before we get that final review up and done. Now you're going to see me shooting this in just a minute. The front sight post, yes, it is directly in line with the front here. With this zoom and magnification on here, it's not going to be an issue. I won't even see that. Through this optic, it's going to look right past it. And at 100 yards, you're not going to have any ghosting issues or anything along those lines to worry about it affecting our accuracy for what we're doing here today. So anyway, don't freak out when you see that. This is the Right-On Mod 5 6-24 power by 50mm. It's got a illuminated reticle and its first focal plane. Pretty cool optic. We're gonna be doing a full review on this. The review on this is still gonna be at least a month out though. But anyway, we're just getting more use out of it here today. That's all we're doing. And this is Right-On's QD release mount on here as well. So we're down at 100 yards. I've got this on paper with this Right-On Mod 5. It's got a first focal plane, an illuminated reticle, pretty cool optic. We're going to be doing a standalone video on this. Probably be at least another month before that's out. But we're moving it between rifles here, just trying to get more use in on it, get more familiar with it before we bring you that review. First up, 55 grain American Eagle ammunition from Federal Premium. And we are going to shoot the top left. We'll be going for that top left bull. Like I said, we're on paper. We're not necessarily shooting for all bullseyes. We're shooting for our group sizes. So, and obviously we're shooting 3 different bullet weights here. So there's going to be 3 different kind of center points of impact as well, since we're shifting between those and we're not making any adjustments to our optic. Top left. All right, there's our first 5, that 55 grain. Now let's move on. This is going to be the 62 grain Federal Fusion Msr. This is a hunting round. I'm actually going to be using this in a different AR to do some predator control here soon. So I'm actually anxious to see how this will do. Even though, you know, this isn't a match barrel, it's obviously not free-floated. We're just curious as to how this is going to do in something like this. All right, let's take the top right bull. Normally I don't chase my shots or anything, but oh my, I don't see where that hit. That's is the point of impact. Normally I don't try and chase or call my own shots, but I have no idea where that one went. I'm going to fire the next 4 into that center bull, just so we can hopefully kind of get an idea where it went, because I have no idea where that round went. And I know I didn't pull it or throw it that much. All right, let's go ahead and switch to that center bull on this one instead. These last 4. Well, that is a much nicer looking grouping. It's a shame I threw that 5th round wherever it went. Must have went in the black just off the thing. Anyway, well, that's embarrassing. So our last 5 rounds here are going to be from this Federal 77 grain OTM ammo. Now, if you're familiar with this stuff, I had some amazing results in this with this accuracy testing in another 5.56 rifle I've got, and this ammo is easily 1-inch ammo out of a match barrel with a quality trigger. So let's see how she does out of this. I am going to take, let's see, we're going to put this into the bottom left bull. Let's go with that, bottom left. And that one actually looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead, take a look. So here we are down at 100 yards. We've got our first 3 groupings of the day after getting it on paper. And we're just going to go with what we got. I'm not going to shoot all day and cherry pick groups or anything else. What you guys see is what you're going to get here today. One thing I wanted to note about the trigger, I think I mentioned it's a standard mil-spec trigger that this base one that I got came with. You know, for a mil-spec trigger, it's a great mil-spec trigger. It feels exactly like a mil-spec trigger should. But it is a mil-spec trigger, right? It's going to be a little heavier. It's going to have a little bit of creep, and the break is not going to be crisp at all. Again, for a mil-spec trigger, it's a great mil-spec trigger, but we have to keep in mind what we're trying to do here. We're shooting groups on something with a front sight post, a non-match barrel, a non-free floated barrel with a mil-spec trigger. So keep that in mind for what we're seeing here isn't necessarily a bad thing at all, especially not when you get to our groupings out of some decent ammo. Anyway, it's a 1-in-7 twist barrel also, so keep that in mind as you see those groupings here for the range of what a 1-in-7 does best with. Anyway, 55 grain American Eagle is our first grouping here. This is the stuff that goes on sale places like Palmetto State for you know, it'll be $300 delivered for 1,000 rounds. So for brass cased ammo, you know, I won't complain about that. So here we go. We got center to center on our longest one right here. You've got just under 3 5/8 is what we're looking at right there with this guy. You take the next smallest 4, and you're looking at 2 1/4 inches if you're looking at these other 4 right here. So that's where we are. Now our next grouping was a 62 grain Federal Fusion Msr ammo. That's kind of their Predator varmint ammo. And our first round went up and into the black over there because we were aiming here. I didn't see it at all from where we were downrange, so I assumed that it went like off, so we moved to this center bull for our next 4 rounds. It's too bad we lost that other round, and we really can't include that into our grouping because what I'm seeing here, I'm really digging out of this 62 grain. Anyway, again, we're not trying to go for bullseyes, we're just shooting our group size because this optic is not staying on there, and we're trying 3 different grain ammos through here as well, so we're not expecting to be, you know, getting bullseyes, exact point impact. We're expecting those to shift as we go through. Anyway, all that said, here we go. Center to center, we are looking at 1.5 inches right here for our 4 rounds. 1.5 inches, that is not bad. And if you look right here, you're looking at under 1 inch for these 3 rounds. Non-match barrel, not free-floated, standard mil-spec trigger. I'm perfectly pleased with the results out of that. Now our final grouping is the 77 grain OTM, again from Federal. And I have really amazing results with that out of some of my other ARs that are really, that are tuned up. Of course, those ARs are coming in at 3 or 4 times the price point of this. Anyway, if you're interested in checking those out, go ahead, they're on the channel. Center to center here, on this, so we have these 2 rounds are touching, so there are 5 rounds here. These 2 are touching. You can kind of tell they're just offset just a little bit. And then our 2, and then number 5. So center to center here, we are looking at just under 1.5 inches, looking at almost 1.25 inches. Here we are looking at center to center, just under 1.5 inches as well. Here, we'll try and show you guys there. So 1.5 inches. 5 rounds, 100 yards, non-match barrel, not free-floated barrel, mil-spec trigger. I can't ask for more than that out of a rifle like this, especially not at my shooting skill. So hopefully that gives you an indication of what you can expect. I've got a Geissele SSP trigger I'm going to put in here. I want to shoot this one completely stock. I've got a Geissele SSP trigger I'm going to be putting in here and upgrading in the next couple of weeks. And we'll come back in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, because I've got a bunch of stuff in the pipeline right now. And we'll do a review on that SSP trigger in this rifle, and we'll see how much we can tighten up a couple of these flyers here and see just what with a trigger upgrade you can expect. Anyway, let's get back to it and send some more rounds downrange because we got to get in some more reliability action shots. So I pulled that Right-On Mod 5 scope off and put the Holosun green dot back on, and I wanted to reconfirm 0, so at 35 yards I threw my mat back down as I was dragging it back and dropped prone, squeezed off 3 rounds, and there she is. So we'll do some more on and off accuracy testing and stuff, but I thought I'd just point that out there since as we're going through this, we're also testing these optics in addition to the rifle here today. We're continuing that process. You'll see that through the next several videos on a couple different rifles. Anyway, let's get back to it. Well, today while we've been out, we've primarily been running Federal brass case. Over the past several weeks, we've been running a variety of different types of ammo through this, including a bunch of steel cased. So far, and I don't want to jinx myself here, but so far we haven't had a single malfunction out of this fella yet. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll run a number of different magazines through it, all 3 generations of PMags, both Gen 1 and Gen 2 hex mags, which you see here. Shout out to Etched Ordnance for the engraving on a couple of magazines you've seen here today. Great custom shop, Etched Ordnance. Go ahead and check them out. And then we've been running a ton of these Mission First tactical mags. We've been running these for several months now, actually dating back till last year. Run them in the snow, run them in the cold, and now in the heat. And I'm about ready to sign off on these as kind of 13C approved. I hate to say that in that way, but we've had a lot of good results with these, and I'm pretty pleased with them. They've held up pretty well. We're going to wind up doing a little bit of more endurance testing and stress testing on them, but I'm digressing at this point. Let's, I don't know, let's shoot some more. actually having to wait here. There's a bit of a dust cloud that's kicked up in front of my steel target, and I don't know if that's from some of the flowers and stuff that's there or not, but the air is kind of really stagnant right now, and there's a dust cloud down here, and it is not here. Let me kind of show you guys here. You can kind of, there it is. It's clearing up now. I don't know if you can. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so that's kind of why we're pausing here, waiting to make sure we can see our target again. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm just going to dump the mag because I can't really see the target again. Hopefully it answers a lot of the questions that you guys have had. I'm going to try and touch on a couple more. We'll put a couple more mags through this before the end of the video. But I just wanted to touch on Palmetto State and what they're doing and what they're trying to do. And when you talk with the folks from Palmetto State and you speak with some of the, you know, the guys that are up there, I haven't spoken directly to the owner, but I've spoken to a lot of his folks. And basically the owners, and you can look on their Facebook page if you want, their mission is to put an AR in every home in America. And I think that is awesome. I think every law-abiding U.S. citizen should own an AR-15. I think that is an admirable goal, and I think that's where they are with some of this freedom line of ARs. I mean, you're getting a reliable rifle that has definite mil-spec or better accuracy, and they're putting it out there for, you know, basically a sub $500 level. I mean, how can you beat that with a stick? I mean, I don't have a stick here, or I would beat it, but you know, it is what it is, right? They're making pretty much all their stuff in-house now. Obviously the Magpul furniture isn't, but pretty much all their other components are making in-house. Their ultimate goal is one or two more things that they don't make in-house to start making in-house, I think with the exception of the springs. Everything else they get that they source that they don't make in-house comes from U.S. companies. So like this Magpul furniture is all made in the USA. And that is an admirable goal. I mean, they've got Americans turning out America's rifle, and I like that. I mean, you know, it's just cool. I like that. So there you go. I hope that answers all the questions, because I have those questions quite a bit where people will ask me, you know, when I post something like this for sale, is this going to be good? Is this reliable? What do I get for that price point? And hopefully that kind of answers those questions. Let's put another mag through this before I talk anymore, now that our dust cloud has settled back down anyway. It's back. I didn't even bother on those last couple. But I'm going to have to go down there with a bucket of water next time this happens and have some down there and kind of wet it down so it doesn't do that. Anyway, more Mission First Tactical mags there. Facebook.com/gun reviews. If you have any questions on this. Instagram. We are at 13C Gun Reviews. You can obviously leave questions down below. Visit us on some of the other sites that we have. We'll put those links down below as well. You can always support the channel going to our swag shop as well. We'll have those links down below or pop up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you have subscribed and you haven't hit that notification bell in the past 3 months, please go back. Right next to where it says subscribe will be a bell. Hit that bell so you can make sure you get notifications. YouTube defaulted everybody's notifications to the off position on a lot of the freedom, liberty, and gun channels. So they did that to most of the subscribers on our channel too. So definitely please go back through there and do that. And I think that pretty much handles everything. I mean, you know, there you go. I hope everybody had a happy Independence Day. I am going to, sun's going down. I'm going to wrap this up, and then we're going to have a little bit of a bonfire here on the hacienda with the family, and enjoy our what's left of our weekend. Everybody, take care, stay safe, and we'll talk soon. Let's see how long we can go before the dust cloud gets too big. Oh, one thing I did want to mention is with this carbine length gas system, it is gassed, a little overgassed, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because a little overgassed means it's going to be a little more reliable than something that's undergassed. At the same time, you put a can on this, it may just be a little bit too much gas coming back. We're going to answer that question in our next 5.56 silencer video that we do. So definitely subscribe and stay tuned, and we'll talk soon.